getting a remote job right now is not as easy as people make it seem. Like everyone's like, oh, if you want to work remotely, just become like an XYZ analyst or a virtual assistant of some sort, or someone that processes data, or a billing processor. Basically jobs that don't require much effort. But the reality is, and I think people know this deep down, they just don't want to admit it. People know that most of this is BS. It's complete BS. Like most jobs out there that are being advertised as easy to get with no experience are actually almost impossible to get. Not because they're hard to do, but because of, well, actually two main problems that most people aren't really seeing. So the first problem that I see is it's essentially impossible for you to differentiate yourself when you're going after a job that is so mundane and so repetitive, other than having a lot of previous experience. Like legitimately just having a lot of previous experience, being able to say that you have 10 years of experience in one of these mundane jobs, that can make you differentiate yourself. But nobody has that. Like, how are you going to stand out if you go into an interview? Let's say you're going into an interview for a virtual assistant position. There's going to be 900 other people that are, they all look the same. Like they know how to do the same task. They know how to do the same thing. They all look the same. The only person that's going to be able to differentiate themselves in that particular case for that particular job is the person that comes in with 10 years of experience or 5 years of experience. They come in with experience. And if you're just starting out, like I was when I got my first remote job, you don't stand a chance because you don't have that experience. You got to remember that job hunting, like job searching, actively looking for a job and trying to get a job, it's sales, it's marketing. Like you're trying to sell a product and the product is you. And if you, as the product, look exactly like every other product on the shelf, why would your buyer, AKA your potential employer, why would they pick you? They won't, because you don't look different in any meaningful way. This is the number one mistake that people make when trying to get a remote job. And it's not a lack of capability. It's not that they're not capable of doing the job, maybe really, really, really well. It's that they come in and they look like everyone else. They come into a job, like they start off by picking the wrong job to apply to in the first place, because they come into a job interview for a job where they cannot differentiate themselves. No matter how hard they try, it's impossible to differentiate. That's the biggest mistake people make. And then the second problem is all of these mundane task-based jobs are so easily going to be replaced by AI. Like think about it. AI is already organizing data. It's answering emails, it's answering support tickets, it's doing all these basic mundane jobs already to a really proficient and professional degree. So it's not really a matter of whether these jobs are going to get replaced by AI. It's just a matter of when, and it's going to be pretty soon because these are going to be the first ones. They're the easiest to replace. The only thing that's in people's favors, in people's favor, if they're doing one of these jobs, is companies move slowly. So it's probably going to take them 1, 2, 3 years for them to start fully adopting software and replacing employees that are doing these types of jobs. Let me give you a quick analogy that I think will make this really clear. Like we're entering an era where let's say in the world of construction, AI is going to replace all the manual labor workers. And the only person in the whole construction project, let's say we're building a building, a 20-story residential building, the person that's not going to get replaced, again, just making an analogy here, not talking literally, the person that's not going to get replaced is the architect, the thinker, the strategist, the person who has the big picture. Again, it's an analogy. Like in the real world, that like thinking about it, it's probably going to be the opposite, where the manual labor is probably going to become more and more valuable because nobody wants to do it, and AI is probably going to be hard to replace a construction worker. But making an analogy into the online space, it's the opposite, where the people that perform the mundane tasks are easily going to get replaced by AI, because in a digital world, we're in AI's world. But the architect in the digital world, the thinkers, the strategists, whatever, there's many jobs that you're the thinker and the strategist, and you're handling the big picture. Those kinds of jobs, AI is not going to do those kinds of jobs. It's going to essentially assist you. It's going to be your assistant, your employee, if you will, that makes you do a better job if you're one of the architects in the digital space. So if you want to be working online for the next 10 years, if you want to work remotely for the next 10 years, you can't aim to be one of the construction workers. you have to aim to be the architect. And that just means you target jobs where you're more of, like I said before, more of the thinker, more of the strategist. Those are the kinds of jobs that you have to target if you want to be working online, if you want to be working remotely for a really long time. And before you start thinking, oh, but I don't have any experience in one of these jobs, neither did I. And you don't need years of experience. You essentially need the right attitude, and you need to pick a skill that you have some interest for so that you don't give up midway through acquiring that skill. But you just need to pick a skill and have the right attitude, like have the right mindset, and stick to it for a long enough period of time so that you become good at it, so that you become valuable to the marketplace and a company sees that and hires you. And that's the part that people don't really want to hear. Like they'd rather make an excuse that those jobs are impossible to get than actually look at it for what it is and see that they're not impossible to get, they're difficult because it requires acquiring an actual skill, a skill that is valuable to the marketplace. If there's a skill that's very valuable to the marketplace, by default, it's not going to be easy to acquire it, because if it was, everybody would do it and it would cease to be valuable. And once you do get to the point where you've acquired the skill and you are valuable to the marketplace, then you can just get off that cycle of applying to, $10 an hour virtual assistant gigs and actually go for a solid 5, 6, 7 grand a month salary that gives you a lot more stability and an actual career to go off of. Some examples of jobs that are going to be where you're going to be the architect working in pair with AI, where AI is going to be your assistant instead of AI replacing you. Could be the job of the advertiser, the media buyer, the advertising manager, the job of the SEO manager, the job of the content manager, the job of the copywriter, the job of the marketing funnel builder, et cetera, et cetera. There's many jobs. I'm talking about digital marketing because that's what I have the most experience in, but there's so many jobs out there that fall within this criteria. These are all jobs that pay you 4, 5, 6, 8K, up to 10K a month, and you don't need a college degree. You don't need previous experience. You just need the actual skill. You need, once again, I'm going to repeat myself because it's important. You pick the skill, a skill that you like, you acquire the skill, you actually become good at the skill, and then you learn how to position yourself, how to differentiate yourself, how to position yourself in such a way that you look different from the alternatives. And it's easy to do in this type of job because these aren't the mundane, task, repetitive kind of jobs that I was talking about in the beginning of this video. But again, this takes work. It's not some, TikTok video that teaches you how to make $10,000 a month by next month type scam. This is the real world. And in the real world, results come from action. They come from discipline, from strategy, from actually putting in the work and not just sitting around and hoping to get lucky. And if you want to learn the exact 6-month system to go from 0 to landing a 5 to 10K a month remote job, watch this video here.